Hello, my lovely viewers. As you can see, I have finally settled into my room here in Milton. Well, as settled in as I can get, living with my parents again, and living in this dingy, dirty place. Well, anyway, we're trying to meet new people, trying to make friends. So I was dragged to, I went along with my father to go meet the most important family, pretty much, in this whole place. And, how many of you know of someone's mother who's, like, extremely pushy? So, part of the reason my father came to Milton, right, is to start up his arts program. It's literally what gets him up in the morning, it puts a spring in his step, so naturally, that's what he geared the conversation towards. And now, the child of the mother that we are talking about today, she's the one helping my father get his business going, setting it all up, making contacts with people that could help him out, the whole shebang, right? And, given her lifestyle and what she has to do, it's really actually quite decent of her. Of course, the mother decided that she needed to inform us without any sugarcoating, just straight to our faces, that she believes her daughter should not be helping my father at all, that she's wasting her time. She said that to our face. Just like that. Now, when I asked her why, she told me, my daughter should be focusing her attention on the most important thing, her business. The immediate issues, the day-to-day needs, the unrest that is happening. That is her job, and that is where her attention should be. Now, I get it. I do, okay? When you have a career like hers, you have to spend a lot of time focusing on being a good employer, being a good boss, right? You gotta know what's happening inside of your company. But does that mean that you can't care about anything else in the whole world? No. Everyone should have their own pursuits and, interests outside of their work. All the better if it's to help the community, right? So now, I told her personally, I believe a mind can get stiff and rigid if it focuses on the same thing for too long. All I got from her was, I don't know what you mean. So now, things are starting to get really uncomfortable. My dad is slinking lower and lower into his chair, and I just knew I had to change the subject, turn the mood around. So, I go for the ego, right? I start telling her, but I've been hearing wonderful things about your child. I'm hearing that she's a great person, a person to be admired. You know what this gets me? Suspicion. Because now she wants to know, well, who's been talking about my daughter and why were they gossiping? Yeah. So then she goes on to tell me that she assumed for a while that I was interested in her daughter. Romantically. Now, I have to confess, I laughed in her face. Like, no hesitation, I laughed in her face. Because while I do admire some things about her daughter, I would never, ever, ever be romantically interested in her. So, I assured her mother of that. Her reaction blew me away. Because, well, at first she was glad, If you can't tell, if you haven't figured it out yet, she doesn't really like me. But then, at the same time, she thought I was being stuck up. Because, of course, who was I to assume that I was too good to date her daughter? Now, at this point, my father was desperately trying to change the conversation to something else. Unfortunately, he picked a bad subject. The strike. Now, her attitude towards this was so superior, so, so she tells us with so much pride that of course her daughter would crush this. But the workers didn't have a cat's chance in hell to just stop.
They will fail. They're idiots to not see that.
Thornton, I did not know you were here.
Your father said that you were in here working?
Yeah, I am.
Listen. The economy is garbage right now. Us workers, we can't afford to pay the wages that they're demanding. Now, they can strike for as long as they want, but eventually they will have to fold. We can't meet their demands. Times have changed over the years. Things have changed, and they can't expect it to stay the same.
Okay, well, why don't you just tell them that? Sit down, have a civil conversation.
I'm not going to consult my employees every time I make a big business decision. I'm their boss. They have to trust my competence.
Wow, what a cold-hearted way to look at that. I mean, this whole situation is so stupid. Your employers and your workers are at each other's throats. When are you guys going to realize that you need each other to survive?
My employees are like children. They need a stern hand. They need someone to guide them.
Okay, so you hold this authority over all these people, most of which I'm pretty sure you hardly know. Okay? And when you have such power over these people, you have to do what's in their best interest, what's best for them. With great power comes great responsibility.
No, I think that's a line from Spider-Man. Listen, Maggie, when they're on the clock, my employees answer to me. When they're out of work, they can do whatever they want. It's none of my business. And you know what? I have to go. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep doing this.
Okay. Well, I'll see you later then.